Good morning, Magic players. Welcome to the morning show to talk MTG. You got the questions. You better believe myself and the community. We've got the answers. Get ready for Q&A and general Magic discussion. And also, on this show, we do Decklist review. You got a 75 you want some feedback on? Bring it over here. Let's take a look at it and enjoy your masterpiece. Let's see how we can fix it to take it to another level. Enjoy it in your format. So welcome to Coffee and MTG for February 5th, 2021. I am your host, Nikachu, Merfolk Master, and we're having another wonderful morning. I got my cup of coffee. This is a coffee day for me, absolutely. Chubby Meatball woke me up last night and basically, oh, you know what? There are a lot of days we keep the cats caged out of the bedroom, but on this particular night, Chubby Meatball snuck in, and when she sleeps directly on my shoulder, putting like constant pressure on it, I can't sleep very well. And then I'm most satisfied when she is sleeping in my armpit. That is perfect. But anywhere else on my body can be really annoying. So I didn't get as much sleep as I want to. Let's bring on the coffee. Bring on the coffee, and then we can bring on the magic. Good morning, Frederick. The exam went fine. I actually had 2 exams. One went very well. One went... We're going to have to wait to see the results to say if it went well or not. Good morning, Carlos. Good morning, Retro Punk. Good morning, Madcap Skills. Good morning, Dacine. And good morning, Maddie. So, we're just going to have to wait to see how the exams went. One went very, very well. And one went not nearly as well. I'll just say that. But maybe it went okay. Who knows? It was a multiple choice test. Maybe it went well. It's not a big deal if it did good or bad. There's plenty of opportunity to make a comeback. I'll just say that. Can I find this? Hold on. We got Saffron Olive. We're getting already some discussion about... should we start to errata the double face card nonsense that we see with, what's it called? With Valky, God of Lies, and Cascade Spells. I'm trying to find the original source tweet that Saffron Olive made. It's already been putting in quite a bit of kerfuffle. Been messing around with Trickster, blah, blah, blah. Considering, there we go. I found it. Found the source, people. So considering that modal double face cards are essentially just split cards that have room for more text, it's a bit weird that CMC is calculated differently. Seems like if Brain and the Jarring Beck and Call into play was so broken, the rules were changed, cheating Tybalt into play might be as well. And I completely agree. I mean, we did change the rules to Beck and Call, those fuse cards. Like, these have already seen an errata already, so that they don't cheat. They used to cheat Emeralds in play, and that was a garbage combo. Those combos weren't even any good back in the day. But now these Valky combos are just dumb. Valky God of Lies is turning into its own archetype, and it turns out it's actually a really good deck because they can not only utilize Simian Spirit Guide and the Cascade spells, they also utilize things like Blood Moon. So actually the decks look really good, the Tybalt decks. I mean, it's essentially comboing off into a sort of Oko Thief of Crowns very early on in the game. And I mean, if you get this thing out on turn 2, whether it's the play or the draw, dealing with a 7 loyalty Planeswalker is a fucking nightmare, especially since anything you put in front of it could just get exiled. I mean, it has the ability -3 exile the target artifact or creature, and then +2 is just massive card advantage. All right, a card off the top of my library, a card off the top of your library. I can cast anything. I can cast whatever I want with whatever mana I need. And then if you put something in the way, I'll cast things while exiling your own crap. So Tybalt's Trickery, they could definitely change this rule. They definitely... Why should you be able to put a 7 mana card into play through a Cascade spell? That doesn't make any sense whatsoever. So I think this is going to be a stress test on the rulings, and they're definitely going to errata the rule, just like they did with Beck and Call way back in the day. I don't even know if everyone remembers that rule change. I don't know if anyone can remember that rule change. But yeah, Valky God of Lies coming through Cascade spells could be a very real deck. Definitely even more real than the Tybalt Trickery deck. But the Tybalt Trickery deck is like an all-in combo deck. Very fragile though, but still like is really, really powerful. This combo might be less powerful, doesn't win the game on the spot, but is really good value. Hard to ignore that value. Good morning, Navas. Then, yeah. Sorry for butchering your name. Good morning, Jason. Good morning, Joe. Good morning, Jiri. I am in university. Good morning, Ramen, Aaron. Good morning, Dexter Johnson. If they did it for the splits cards, they might as well do it for... They will absolutely do it. I mean, you know, if history has shown... If history proves anything, they can change those rules. Good morning, Cole. Good morning, Ben. Morning, Dustin. Hope you have a great, wonderful... I'm going to have... I hope the Friday... I'm going to take a nap after Coffee and MTG, but the weekend's going to be great. Adventure would also need it in that case, right? Maybe. I mean, like, it's a different type of card, and I would agree that... I mean, I don't know how they would want to interpret that. What's the main card on an adventure spell? Like, so anyway, I don't know what they would have to change there, but I don't know if they need to make that change immediately yet. But probably eventually they would want to clear something up with the adventure spells. Good morning, Aztec. Gregors. Good morning, Lord Magicus. Do you get an A? I don't know. I have no idea. Mark's not in yet. Good morning, Justin. Good morning, Ethan. And well, that's the only like drama I see right now within the Magic community. Outside of the fact that there's a certain chunk of people who are already tired of like how Modern has been shaken up, and you know what? I really don't care if they were one of the Primeval Titan players, if they were one of the Tron players. Guess what? Now you get to feel the wrath of people doing ridiculously stupid things by turn 3. I mean, that's what the Titan and Tron players were all about. Power plant, mine, tower, put a Karn in play, turn 3 bustedness. Same thing with Primeval Titan now. You very consistently get Primeval Titan in play by turn 3. Turn 1, either Amulet or Arboreal Grazer. Turn 2, Azusa or Dryad of the Elysian Grove. Turn 3, Primeval Titan. Again, more busted stuff that you do by turn 3, and the game just spirals out of control. So I do not have any sympathy for the people who are suddenly sick of this metagame. I mean, the Tibalt Trickery deck is easily beatable by counter magic. It suffers to counter magic, and maybe there are maybe there will be a better version that can cascade a little bit more often. Of course, you know, if you can ramp underneath the counter spells with Simian Spirit Guide, that well, maybe that will take the deck over the top. Of course, that might not be the problem of the combo. The problem would be Simian Spirit Guide in that case. But I think, like, obviously the Tibalt's Trickery deck is still a little OP. I think it is just too easy to get that value from that sort of combo deck that it's not going to go away like Neobrand did. Not to mention, like, Neobrand is just infinitely more complicated. That matters. Like, if your combo deck is just brainlessly stupid, a lot more people will pick it up because they can get the full value out of it. How hard is it for a complete pony to just put 3 lands in play and play a Cascade spell? This is not hard at all. But get that pony to play Neobrand in, like, you know, in just a few matches, they'll just throw away so many games because they don't know how to combo with it. And then even when they combo off, they still can't, like, prove the victory. You know what I mean? Ryan Scott asks, getting back into Modern, I'm building a discard deck on a budget. What are your thoughts on what 1-drops I should use over others? You're talking about, so you're talking, you want to save some money on Thoughtseize and Inquisition of Kozilek? I mean, okay, people, let's help. I know there's Duress. It's not going to hit creatures, but I mean, this is still a pretty good hand disruption spell on turn 1, nailing a lot of non-creature spells. I think there's a 1-mana one for creatures as well. But here, come on, community. What's our 1-drop options in, like, a discard deck? Are you like a Jund deck, Ryan, by any chance? Like Jund? Or are you like a Pox deck? Are you a small Pox deck? We need some, like, more clarity on what kind of discard deck you are. I mean, there's, like, Raven's Crime. This is like an excellent discard. Yeah, like Jake said, like Raven's Crime. I mean, I guess the best, like, the only discard deck is 8-Rack, as Alex just said. That's like the only. We could look at it. We could look up an 8-Rack deck. Get some inspiration here. Some inspiration. Koopa King went 5-0. We need to enlarge this a little bit. There we go. Does this deck play? Oh, are we going to see the cards or not? Do I have to go smaller? Do I get? Oh, they have the cards on the side. Okay, cards are over here, people. 2 Ensnaring Bridge. That might be a little expensive. And honestly, I don't even think all the 8-rack decks even need it. But the point of this discard deck is to play cards like the Rack, which says at the beginning as the rack comes into play, choose an opponent. At the beginning of the chosen player's upkeep, the rack deals X damage to that player, where X is 3 minus the number of cards in his or her hand. And there's one more, Shrieking Affliction. At the beginning of each opponent's upkeep, if that player has 1 or fewer cards in hand, he or she loses 3 life. So keep their keep the cards in their hand down, and basically deal damage to them. What do they use? They use Fatal Push. I mean, this is all 1-drops. Blood Chief's Thirst. They use Wrench Mine. This is not a 1-drop, but like target player discards 2 cards unless they discard an artifact card. Inquisition of Kozilek, Raven's Crime, Thoughtseize, but I think that might be out of your budget. Again, you could use Duress or something like that. Smallpox, and they use some Liliana of the Veils. This is probably one of the more essential cards to this deck because it's a repeatable source of discarding cards and deals with cards on the battlefield. And I think, I mean, this is it. I mean, this is like literally a discard deck that tries to win. So I hope this at least inspires something for you when thinking about building a discard deck in Modern. Ben Golan says, I'm 13 and finally have enough money for Modern, but my deck getting banned would be brutal. I can afford Sultai or Uronath, but I'm scared of an Uro ban. Likeliness of such? The likeliness of Uro getting banned, very, very high. But here's the deal. I wouldn't be too concerned, because if you buy into the control pieces, you buy into Cryptic Command, you buy into Teferi Time Reveler, you buy into the fetch lands, you buy into the counterspells, you buy into Jace the Mind Sculptor and stuff like that, there will be a control deck, a blue-white control deck that will rise to prominence after Uro gets banned. I can guarantee that, because there always was a blue-white control deck in Modern for the entire history of Modern until Uro came around, and now all of a sudden it was, Simic focused. So Simic splash black, Simic splash red, Simic splash white and red, like the Uronath. So maybe I can't guarantee that a Sultai, or maybe actually a Dimir version of control might also still be playable. So you could choose either one and feel pretty safe that when Uro gets banned, you will still have your cards will still be good, because there will be a control deck that's going to rise from among them. But I would bet more that there would be a more popular blue-white X deck than a blue-black X deck, or even a blue-black deck. There are blue-black control decks in the beta game right now that don't play Uro, and they're probably going to exist afterwards, but I would bet more money that a blue-white X deck will be like the better, like the deck, the control deck to play when Uro gets banned, because it's guaranteed to happen. You can't. I mean, let's take a look at the meta share here right now. You look at like Uro, Omnath here, Sultai, Uro. Actually, Temur Uro fell down quite a bit, but within the top 10 decks of MTG Goldfish, you have 3 different versions of Uro, which make up, what is this? This is 11, 14% of the metagame. That's very high. That's very, 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 very high. It's very high. That's definitely ban-worthy stuff. So I would definitely bet on it getting banned, but I would not feel too bad. Just make sure that, let's look even at Sultai Uro for a second. Just to even take a look at, let's say you bought into Sultai Uro. What would essentially get banned with your Uro? I mean, maybe Sultai will still be good. I somehow doubt it. 2-color control decks will just, succeed better versus Blood Moon. But like your one of Abrupt Decay won't be good anymore. The 4 Growth Spiral won't be good anymore. The Life from the Loam won't be good anymore. Oh, and the Wilderness Reclamation won't be good anymore. So it's not a big loss. Your biggest loss will be Uro getting banned. But the rest of the deck, the Fatal Pushes, the remans, the force and negations, the cryptic commands, the factor fictions, even your search for Azcanta, your castle ventures, Field of Ruin, maybe not Field of the Dead, the mystic sanctuaries, even the misty rainforest. I mean, I don't know if you need the extra fetch lands, but you know, a fetch land is a fetch land. You got to have an off-color fetch land anyway. The polluted deltas, the swamp, the watery grave, like those are still going to be good cards. Oh, the Veil Summer is probably going to just be dead. And I could be wrong. There maybe Sultai can hold its own even without Uro. I could be guaranteed. I'm just saying I know blue-black control will be a thing after Uro gets banned. I just can't be certain that like Sultai will be as good when Uro gets banned. But thanks for the question. I hope that gives you some confidence one way or another where you go. Of course, if something gets banned, you're going to lose a little bit of money, but the deck itself won't completely be rubbish. But I would if I were to choose one of the two, I would go with the Uro one because it has more blue-white cards in those versions. Do any of your classmates know your internet celebrity status? Only once in a marketing class. I don't know how it came up, but like I ended up saying I'm a YouTuber and they saw it. I was like, oh, you have like so many subscribers. You have so many followers on Twitch. Raman asks, how would it work if you cascade into a Cyclonic Rift or any Overload card? Do you get the option to cast with Overload, or you only get the single target effect? You only get the single target effect. You only get for what it says on CMC. That the Overload effect, that's just like it's like a special ability when you cast it. I don't know how to put it. It's but you don't get the Overload effect. You don't get the ability of the card. Blackmail as a discard card? Or the discard card discussion. It's interesting, actually. Target player reveals 3 other cards from his or her hand, and you choose one of them. That player discards that card. So they get to choose 3 cards. And it could be lands. Interesting. Interesting. Good morning, Tiago. I remember to say that this synergy between Tibalt and Cascade spells would be something, and people still didn't saw that Trinisphere combination on this type of deck. What do you mean Trinisphere? People haven't seen the Trinisphere combination? You mean like, is that an answer? You're saying Trinisphere would stop this? I mean, I guess so. Because everything's a 3-drop, right? But the hard part is getting Trinisphere out before your opponent like plays the Cascade spell. It generally only work if you're on the play. Oh, Funeral Charm. Oh, all the charms actually discard, right? This one is target player discards a card, or target creature gets +2/-1 until end of turn, or target creature gains Swamp Walk until end of turn. This is like almost identical to the blue one. It's like almost identical. Was there like a color pie thing that it like... I don't know. I can't remember what the blue charm is. Piracy charm. It's identical, except it gives Island Walk. Oh, this is a color shifted one. Aha. So that's why I copied it. Target creature gains Island Walk until end of turn, or target creature gets +2/-1, or target player discards a card. Interesting. FT Grim. Hi, Nikachu. One question. Do you think that if Uro gets a ban, the modern format could potentially change to a more slow speed or will remain the same? I think Uro already... Oh, no, I can't say if Uro actually slows down the format. Yeah, it would. I think there's a much higher chance that the format will slow down when Uro gets banned, because most of the mid-range decks just can't coexist very well. And we have seen some adaptations. We do see some Rakdos mid-range in the mix. Jund might be coming back. Some people are playing Jund to some good success. So we might start seeing some more mid-range in today's metagame. But for the most part, Uro just fucking wipes its ass with all the other mid-range decks. Like, if you just go head-to-head, you're not going to outgrind the Uro deck. So it has wiped away a lot of the mid-range decks, any decks I want to play slow, and just force the format to either play Uro, play combo, or play some really fast aggro deck. So there's a very good chance that if Uro gets banned, the format will slow down significantly. Maybe get a lot more Thoughtseize decks in the format. Thoughtseize decks that try not to win immediately. You're welcome, Ryan. Of course, if you want your questions to be seen by me, helps if you give 3 question marks before the question, 3 question marks after the question. Helps me find your question amongst all the comments. I can't read everything. It's just like, instead of reading everything, I just go quickly, immediately to the comment. I see question marks. I see question marks. Okay, that's a question. I got to go to it. And or if you're on Facebook, sorry, if you're on YouTube, you have the access to super chats. You can make a donation, and I'll definitely see your question amongst all the comments. Also banned Snowblade. Oh yeah, there's that it's not one of the top decks of all the Uro decks, but it's out there. Where's Snowblade? I mean, it's way further down. Because I think one-on-one, like banned Snowblade versus like just another Uro deck is probably just a worse version of an Uro deck, but still a deck. Still a deck nonetheless, Mathieu. Uro will keep its price? It's playable in Legacy and Commander and Pirate. Nope, no, not a chance. I mean, it will go down and it will go back up, especially since it is playable in. First off, if they ban it in Modern, it's likely it's going to get axed in Legacy as well. You just listen to the Legacy community online. Nobody likes Uro. It's not like anyone wakes up and say, "Oh my God, I love Uro in the format. This is so great." It's unanimously everyone hates Uro. They're just playing, if anyone plays the Uro deck, it's just because they need to grind the ticks and there's nothing else you can do. You got to play Uro in Legacy. So it's just unanimous hate for Uro. Uro is not going to last there forever. It's going to be an Oko Thief of Crowns situation. I mean, let's look at Oko, where it's definitely going to have some playability because it's not going to get banned it's definitely not going to get banned in Commander. You can get Oko for like almost $20 US. But remember, Oko used to be like 50 to 70. So, I mean, we're looking at, a little bit more than 1/3 the price of its OG price. And we look at Uro. If we look at Uro's price, I don't know what it is. It's 41. Could end up being like a $20, again, another $20 card, somewhere between $15 and $20 after it's been banned from all the formats that need to see play. And the online price will just crash hard, super hard. This is just in paper because no one plays Commander, or I would say very few people play Commander online. So the digital price of this card will just collapse. What is Oko on? Yeah, let's go Oko Thief of Crowns. I'm just curious to know what the online price of this thing is. Oh, Oko. So arrogant, you son of a bitch. Magic the Gathering online price. Actually, oh yeah, because it's still played in Legacy for now. This is still being played in Legacy. And people hate it. I forgot. Okay, so there's still some playability of this thing in Legacy. Where was it? Where did it used to be? It used to be this high though. This is Oko in Modern, 75 ticks. This is Oko in Legacy. And I can only assume this is going to go like $5 or less in Legacy online if it gets banned. Simple as that. If cards get banned from the competitive formats, it just crashes. Maybe not to nothing, because of course there's going to be some demand for it. People will demand it at a lower price point, but just naturally it always crashes. Any comments related to this? Oh, there's so many questions. Everyone's out today for the questions. Destin Lee asks, what tribal decks do you think will be better in Modern after Kaldheim gets released? Are there any tribal cards that interest you? I think the only tribal decks... well, okay. I do believe actually right now is a good time for tribal, only because if you're a blue tribal deck, I mean, now's your time. You generally have a really good game against the Uro decks because we play with Cavern of Souls, and you have access to counter spells to defeat the Tybalt's Trickery decks or just any of the stupid Cascade decks. As long as you have access to counter spells, you're in good shape in this metagame. Now, other tribal decks got some boost, like Elves. I think Elves got a lot of really good playables, besides Realm Walker. Realm Walker being sort of the new with Goblin Conspicuous Snoop. Thought it was called Goblin something, but no, it's called Conspicuous Snoop. Not you can't exactly combo off with this thing, but you can play like potentially infinite like elves off the top of your deck, as you can add mana with every single elf that you play through either Heritage Druid, or you eventually just add a bunch of mana with Elvish, the Elder one, Elvish Archdruid. Pretty sure that's it, right? Yeah. You can add a grain for each elf you control. So you start peeling some elves off the top, then you just add a million mana and just keep peeling more stuff off the top. So I think for the most part, I mean, elves. I mean, of course, we have to see if they can all stand the heat to Plague Engineer. That's a problem, but maybe elves has enough 2-drops now that 2 toughness creatures that they can fight through that. There aren't any. I mean, there aren't any particular tribal cards that interest me. There are just general cards like Bind the Monster and Mystic Reflection that interest me. I had 2 exams. One went well. One did not go very well, but that's okay. Everything's gonna be fine. You hope for Cabal Therapy in Modern Horizons 2? I think the fact that they made a Cabal Therapy on a creature signifies that they're not going to actually print actual Cabal Therapy. How would Pull from Eternity interact with Trickery combo? Is it a viable answer? Okay, before we look at this card, I just want to say, like, there's a bunch of just generic, good, viable answers right now. Like, I don't know if we need any janky answers to beat the Tybalt's Trickery combo. But, like, because a lot of people are trying hard to figure out some weird answers when they don't work. Okay, so a white, put target face-up card that's removed from the game into its owner's graveyard. I don't think that works, because Tybalt's Trickery is going to be cast from exile, and once it's cast, it's not in exile anymore. It's on the stack, and once it's on the stack, it's not in another zone. I think I know what you're trying to do. Like, before it goes on the stack, you put it in their graveyard instead of letting them cast it, but they'll have priority and they'll cast it before you can do this. Close, but no donut. But, like, there's no point to this stuff like this. You should just play, I mean, even better than this is just, like, silence. The opponent can't play more spells that turn. I'm pretty sure Trinisphere does nothing since Cascade casts the spell without paying the mana cost. That could be true, actually. What does Cascade say? What does Trinisphere? Because it doesn't. I guess Trinisphere doesn't change the converted mana cost. As long as Trinisphere is untapped, each spell that would cost less than 3 mana to cast costs 3 mana to cast. Additional mana in the. I don't know how this works. I'm assuming. Or is it a situation where it's cast for free, but then forces you to pay mana anyway? Does anyone know how Trinisphere and Cascade works? Trinisphere taxes it still. I just remember one judge ruling. Yeah, this is the judge ruling I remember. Trinisphere always wins. However you think you can cheat out of Trinisphere, Trinisphere wins all the time. It's like I don't know, it's just a funny judge rule. Trinisphere always wins. Nope. But can I cast it for free like this? Nope. Nope, 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 nope. Trinisphere trumps everything. Well, you might get the option to cast it for free, but then you have to pay the 3 mana to cast it anyway. So, like, a Cascade spell might find the spell that's converted mana cost 2 or less, but then you need to pay 3. because you don't actually get to cast it for free. Trinisphere kicks in and says, hey, you got to pay 3 mana for that. You didn't pay for that. Get back over here. And you didn't tip me either. We're having some hot fire discussion today. It's really good. It's also really good that when people ask these rules questions, the people learn how they all work. Not a question, but it's so addictive to collect Zendikar Rising Expeditions. I bought 4 lately. Holy shit. Those are good stuff. Frumpo asks, what is your opinion on the current state of merfolk as a tribe versus spirits, humans, and goblins? What do you mean, like one-on-one or in the metagame itself? I think merfolk is well positioned right now in the metagame. The only annoying thing is that other tribal decks have also risen up, and I don't think our matchup versus humans and spirits is just naturally better unless we have to like really metagame for those matchups. But if you want to talk about one-on-one, like we're just the worst tribe out of all of them. Like humans is just faster and more interactive. Goblins can combo off on turn 3. Spirits used to be a pretty good matchup, but now Skyclave Apparition is just a huge tempo swing. 3 mana, exile your power, and also put our own power in play. I mean, it's just a huge tempo swing, huge hoser. So if you want to talk about merfolk versus the metagame, I think merfolk is pretty well positioned, but so is spirits and humans. I don't know if we have that much more game than the rest of them. Probably we have better game than goblins does, though, because goblins doesn't have counter spells. Torborg says, I've been using Threads of Disloyalty a lot, and holy cow, is it good in my deck that runs the Elf Sprawl. Turns out there are a lot of powerful 1 and 2 drops in Modern. Oh, absolutely. There's tons of stuff to steal out there. Threads of Disloyalty is serious stuff. Jojo Suma, have you seen Aspiring Spike using Pyre of Heroes in Goblins? Do you think it could fit in merfolk somehow? Yes. I retweeted his list. So let's look at Pyre of Heroes. Now, mind you, we don't have, like, merfolk doesn't have any way to combo off with this. But on the other hand, like, this is probably a very good turn 5 play, a turn 6 play, where you don't have anything else to do. And you're investing that, because the way I'm looking at merfolk right now is I've killed my opponent by like turn 4 to 5. And then if I haven't, this game is going to go long no matter what. So at the very least, I'll have a card like this to upgrade my card. So if I have a 1-drop like Ben, let's go with Command of Speaker. Bless me. So let's say I have Command of Speaker. I immediately upgrade to Silver Gill Adept. And the thing is, I can have the core cards, Silver Gill Adept, maybe Merfolk Trickster, the 8 Island Walk Lords, but then I can have 1-ofs of everything else. I can have like a 1-of Mararidri. Maybe there's actually room to play with, what's it called? Something Pioneer. Their Jungleborn Pioneer, which is a 3-drop that comes with a dude, so we get like a 1/1 blue merfolk creature token with hexproof, and that thing can be then turned into a 1-drop, into a 2-drop, into a 3-drop, and we do the chain all over again. We've also got, and then I could just get Master of Waves. And maybe there's even more room to get, like, it's anything within, and I could get wizards too. I can get other wizards and stuff like that. So I think actually there's a lot of room to explore. I'm definitely going to explore this card. I think it's really cool. I'm going to try out Pyre of Heroes. Don't I have a merfolk combo actually? There's a merfolk combo in this deck between 2 1-drops and Merit Ono, but it also needs that other card. I can't quite utilize Splinterfin because I need the equipment. And if they ban Field of the Dead and not Uro, a lot of things are going to stay the same. I don't think Field of the Dead is going to change very much. Field of the Dead is a very strong card, but Uro is definitely the key card holding everything together. Tiago asks, you will notice that you have to play always 3 mana spells or above. With this in mind, I imagine if you play Trinisphere along Gemstone Caverns and Seeming Spirit Guide, I have no idea. I don't think Trinisphere is supposed to be played with the combo. I think it's supposed to be played against the combo. Dan asks, I like modern Grixis and Croxa is great. Is Croxa at risk for banning with Uro? No, not even close. Croxa is way more fair. Like, making opponents discard cards is not nearly as dangerous as drawing cards. Not to mention that you get the option to choose what you discard, and also it's only two abilities. Basically, you discard a card and maybe deal 3 damage. Whereas with Uro, it's ramp, it's life gain, it's card draw. I mean, it was just a bit too stupid. Croxa is in good shape to stay in the modern metagame, potentially for a very, very long time. I don't think. I mean, maybe in some world it could get banned, like I don't know, 8 years in the future. But I don't think so. I think it's just a very fair card. Hey Nikachu, just saw your latest Tybalt's League. Is it wrong that I was glad the Tybalt deck got pretty stomped? No, not. You got to root for somebody, and if you want to root for my opponents, that's all fair game. Here we go. Aztec Guy's got some advice. Tip: if you open a full foil art, etc. version of a busted card, trade it, sell it immediately, get your value out of it before it gets banned. I've made so much value doing this. Also, just do it if, like, the set just came out. I mean, let's look at Oko again. Let's look at tabletop Oko. Like, look how high the price of cards are when a set comes out. I mean, you got to sell into the hype. Like, cards are pretty hyped in the beginning, like 40 ticks, and then people are like, no, Oko's not good. Oh wait, fuck, we fucked up. It's really good. So sell into the hype. We sell into the hype. Like, cards I mean, this is Oko's example, but there's a lot of cards that are. I mean, let's look at. I don't know if Archmage's Charm is a really good example. I mean, here's a card that was pre-selling for like some enormous amount, like 25 bucks, and just collapsed to like nothing. Then it went up a little bit, and now it's collapsed again. I don't know why it went down. Why did you go down, Archmage's Charm? You didn't get reprinted or anything like that. But the point is, like, the long story short is always sell into the hype. You're better off. The odds of you holding on to the card and it's going to rise more in value later is really uncommon. It's like really uncommon. It would be the exception, not the rule. Every set comes with tons of mythic cards. Maybe 1 or 2 end up being good. The rest are always garbage. Not financial advice. Would Uro be viable if explosive cards like Faithless Looting got unbanned or alternatively printed some? No. Why do people think like this? You know, no. It would not. Uro would be. We mean more viable if explosive cards got unbanned or alternatively printed into Modern Horizons. You mean, like, would Uro be kept in check? Like, all you're really doing is adding more ridiculously busted archetypes into the modern format with Faithless Looting. Faithless Looting is not getting unbanned. I gotta make a video on this. Like, there's so many people asking me, can Faithless Looting get unbanned, Nikachu? What are the odds that they're gonna unban Faithless Looting? That card is fucking locked up for the rest of its life for the modern format. Unless they, like, reprint so many legacy cards that it doesn't matter anymore. Like, they print Force of Will and, like, everything else. But, I mean, the point of modern is it's supposed to be a slower format than legacy. It's supposed to be. Faithless Looting never facilitated anything remotely fair. Ben asks, since I'm in the US, we won't have face-to-face events for months. Should I wait for broken cards in Modern Horizons 2? Or even the Fetchland reprint to invest in a deck? I would wait. Like, I was asked this in my private Discord, like, what deck should I buy into? And the thing is, every set that comes out shakes up the modern metagame so much. How can you buy into a deck right now? Now, you could buy into general modern staples. Like, let's say you're interested in playing a Thoughtseize deck. You don't know if it's going to be Shadow. You don't know if it's going to be Jund. Maybe Abzan or Sultai is going to be a big deck 9 months to a year from now. You could buy the pieces, like the good cards to those archetypes. You know, get your Blood Chief's Thirst, get your Verdant Catacombs, or, like, you know, wait for your Verdant Catacombs from Modern Horizons 2 for when the price goes down. But the point is, you know, you can pick up Thought Seizes. You could pick, you know, get the pieces, the core staple cards to Modern, and then, you know, pick the correct archetype when the time comes. Maybe Shadow is the best Thoughtseize deck when a year from now. Maybe it's not. We don't know. Like, the metagame is changing so much, so wildly. You know, if you asked me half a year ago, Tron would see no play. Eldrazi Tron would see no play. The Primeval Titans would get their ass whipped and could be completely off the ballot, like just completely wiped away from the metagame. I always said, like, that sounds so unlikely. But now we're in a situation where there's an aggressive combo deck in the metagame that those decks have no chance against, and they're gone. They're just gone. So I would say it's just a bit too dangerous to dedicate yourself to a deck. But you could dedicate yourself. You could. I could be certain that even, like, and I know Tron is going to come back. Primeval Titan's going to come back because the combo will get banned, or they're going to Rata something. Something's going to happen. But you could be certain that, I could always be certain that there's going to be a Cryptic Command deck next year. I could be certain that there's going to be a Thoughtseize deck next year. So you could buy the general staples for those decks. That would be my best advice for you. And then when the time comes that Paper Magic starts returning, you can then focus razor sharp onto the other key pieces to that deck that you want to build. Mass Vandal and Simic Merfolk. I think it's garbage. I thought I was hopeful for this card, but I know, I just think it's straight trash. Here's the deal. 2 mana, 1/3 changeling. When it enters the battlefield, you may exile a creature card from your graveyard. If you do, exile target artifact or enchantment an opponent controls. How do you get the card in your graveyard? And it's not even any random card. It's a creature card. How do you get in the graveyard? Okay, tell me, people. That's the riddle here. How do you reliably, and against, like, what am I bringing this in against? I'm bringing in against, like, Primeval Titan decks to blow up Dryad of the Elysian Grove. Like, the decks how do I get this card in the graveyard? Like, that's the riddle. That's the problem here. How do I get it in the graveyard? The best case scenario is, like, turn 1 drop, turn 2 Smuggler's Copter. But even then, at that point, this is no longer a 2 mana spell. It might as well be 3 mana. And at 3 mana, we got Reclamation Sage. At 3 mana, we have a lot of options. You know, it's competing with this card, which can also be Violed In, is also a Shaman, by the way, in Simic Merfolk. We have a lot of Shamans in Simic Merfolk. So Mass Vandal, I don't think is actually that good. I'm not impressed with this card because this clause is stupid. You have to exile a creature card from your graveyard. Well, we're talking about Simic Merfolk, though. So anyway, I actually think the card is unplayable. Upon closer inspection, this card is useless. Just absolutely useless. Thoughts on Poison in Standard and Historic? It's probably is going to be unplayable, but we'll see. Because no matter how big the creature is, you only deal 2 like poison damage. So I don't see how it can ever get busted. At least, like, I don't know. I could be proven wrong. I mean, anything is possible, but on the surface, it looks very fair. Carl Buford asks, is Vigilance important enough that Bind the Monster is good when Bubble Snare was not? What do you mean, is Vigilance important enough? The thing with Bind the Monster is that it forced a creature to be tapped. So if I'm on my aggro, if I want to be aggro, if I'm trying to kill my opponent, Bind the Monster clears the way, whereas Bubble Snare did not clear the way for 1 mana at least. Like, that's the key difference with Bind the Monster. Okay, with Merfolk, there's a lot of matchups where you want to attack, but if your opponent plays 5/6 Tarmogoyf, is on blocking duty, well, that's a problem for you, because then your opponent's getting to the late game. You don't want to get to the late game. The longer the game goes, that may not favor you necessarily. Bind the Monster makes sure that you have the option to win the early game. It taps down your opponent's creature, and then it doesn't untap. But so I don't understand the Vigilance part. Is Vigilance important enough? I see what you mean. You think I'm trying to get around Vigilance. No, I'm just trying to get around blockers, because Bubble Snare is not a removal spell. Because if my opponent's creature is untapped, this card will do nothing. I need to wait till I have 4 mana to tap my opponent's creature down. But at 4 mana, holy fuck, that is a lot of mana used as a removal spell. This is not nearly as good. This card's not playable. That 1 mana it is. I mean, it's on par with like Fatal Push, Swords to Plowshares, Path to Exile, Lightning Bolt, Dismember. You want to be able to interact at 1 mana, so it taps down my opponent's creature. Like, I don't want to. The moment the 7/7 Death Shadow attacks me, I'm fucking dead. That's not a good sign. So I want to tap down that Death Shadow before that happens. That's the point. I think a lot of people slept on this card. If you saw me on Coffee and MTG, I was high on this card from day one. People are criticizing me on Facebook, on Twitter, like this is not the card. No, this is great stuff. This 1 mana removal spell. It deals with lose less life than Dismember, and in the situations where we lose more life than Dismember, those were creatures I could never kill with Dismember. Bind the monster also can be pitched to force a negation. I love this card from day one. I think it's the best card in the set for Simic Merfolk. Probably is going to see play in other decks too. This card might end up being a real staple as more people start picking it up and piloting it. Is Tybalt's Trickery a cancer or annoying to Modern right now? I think it's both. You're definitely going to see Tybalt's Trickery. It's suppressing a lot of archetypes. And you could say like no one likes the big mana decks, but still part of the meta game. And it's to completely wipe that stuff out. Not to mention all the games are bullshit. They're bullshit games. Nothing happens. Like the games are so bad. Turn 3, just win. Sometimes turn 2, sometimes turn 0. Anyway, they're really dumb. You Up Past the Dawn asks, do you have any hope that Modern Horizons 2 will show some love for merfolk as an actual merfolk creatures? I have been hoping for love for merfolk for years. Years. It hasn't happened yet. I'm hoping every set there's going to be love for merfolk. And Modern Horizons 1, they said it was going to be the tribal set. There was no merfolk in that set. There wasn't a single merfolk, right? I don't remember there being a single merfolk in that set. That's bullshit. Even the professor said, "Where's the merfolk? Where's the merfolk in this set?" Unbelievable. Does Big Tybalt cost 7 mana? It does cost 7 mana, but not if you cascade into Valky, God of Lies. You're allowed to just flip into that thing. I have no idea what that's... Gotta give me like... I have no... When I get to your questions, I have no idea what the context is. Always love the stream. Just came back after almost 2 weeks because my working schedule changed to day shift. No problem. Welcome back, Jarl. Or Jarl. What are your answers with Merfolk against Ad Nauseam? Counterspells. Chalice of the Void is very powerful, and a fast clock. Simic is way better than Mono Blue. The fact you can be 1 turn faster, it means the whole world in that matchup. But counterspells is everything. The more counterspells you have, the better chance you are going to beat Ad Nauseam. The less counterspells you have, the less chance you have to beat Ad Nauseam, because they do have quite a bit of counter magic themselves. I would say really my best card is Chalice of the Void. If you get Chalice of the Void on 1, that is a very big deal. Shuts off their semi-tutoring card, and also shuts off Angel's Grace and all their cantrips. How's Infect position in the metagame? Seems that it can fight against Uro and Tybalt's Trickery. Prowess and Burns seem on the downtrend as well. I don't know if they're going to be on the downtrend. Like, they should, but I personally have seen a lot of Prowess still. It's still like a budget-ish deck that people are willing to play. And Burn, I'm actually seeing more Burn more than ever. Burn can use Deflecting Palm to redirect the 15 damage that they're taking from Emrakul and shoot it at your face. Overall, we're gonna have to wait and see, because if Prowess and Burn are still around, I don't think Infect's position is gonna be all that good. I believe that it can do okay. It can do well against Uro decks, but it's the rest of the meta game that has a problem with. Pyre of Heroes with Silver Smoke Ghoul in Modern Vampires. I don't know about like maybe there's Pyre of Heroes available in Vampires. That's possible. I'm really excited to see Pyre of Heroes in Zombies. I think Zombies is a fantastic shell for that deck, because there's so many zombies that just come back from the graveyard anyway, like Gravecrawler, for example. I mean, there are some vampires that will also come back, like Silver Smoke Ghoul and the vampire with Landfall. Name escapes me right now, But but that's, I think there are more zombies that come back from the graveyard, so I think Pyre of Heroes would be very interesting in a zombies deck. ARP, thoughts on restricted list as in Yu-Gi-Oh, where instead of being banned, cards are limited to 1 to 2 copies. Would be problematic combos be viable with only one of each piece? I've made videos on this. I've actually have gameplay on this in the past. I actually think we should go in this direction. I like it a lot. I would like to have, and it makes the games feel more varied. Well, I actually went as far as to say the whole format should be like 2x. You should limit the maximum number of cards in the deck to 2 instead of 4. But I'm totally for, instead of banning the cards, restricting them to 1. I think it would be a lot more fair. Be way more fair. I think it's time for Decklist review. You all have so many great questions. Can't get to them all, but that's why we do this every weekday. All right, Decklist review. If you have a 75, you want to get reviewed on this channel, my description has links to my Discord. Go to my Discord, my beautiful, wonderful Discord. Uh-oh, where's my Discord? It's not open. I gotta open my own Discord. Discord, where are you? Go to my Discord. Go to the channel, Deck Review. Pretty sure it's Deck Review. I can't see it right now. Installing updates. Where are we? Yes. Okay. Go to it's Decklist Review. I don't even know it by heart. Go to the channel Decklist Review. Use the command !review deck space. Give the URL to your deck list. Press enter, and you'll be eligible at random to be chosen for Decklist Review. Remember, you are chosen at random. You are not put into a queue. There are no queues or anything like that around here. So as people start submitting their deck list, we are going to start by thanking our sponsors, themetabase.com, the content site, articles, podcasts, and videos on your favorite formats like Modern, Commander, Standard, and more. The Metabase is your home base for everything Magic the Gathering. And we're also going to thank FusionGamingOnline.com, my favorite local game store. I buy all my paper singles from this local game store. It's also like 10 minutes like by bus, not too long, not too far for me, so I love it. Fusion Gaming Online is a Canadian local game store with a deal of the week every week. Deal of the week this week is save 20% off select TCG sealed product. This is going to be mostly available to the Canadians. I don't think they can ship. They ship internationally, but I don't think they ship sealed product internationally. You'll have to check out the select sealed product to see if you can qualify to buy it. I get something rang. I'll be right back. Give me a second. Hello. I'll be right down. Okay, thank you. Amazon called. Until then, look at the wonderful Fusion Gaming advertisement and submit your deck list for Decklist Review. Hello, salut. Salut. Say hello to everyone. Say hello. Good morning, salut. You're the reason why there's so much hair on my sweater. Say hello. Hello, salut. Good morning. Good morning. Here, say with me, salut. So you can support the channel by buying from Fusion Gaming, but you can save 5% off all your purchases using my discount code Nikachu at checkout. Where you want to go? What's wrong, Saru? Actually, he's pretty calm, actually, to be honest. Charlie Meatball just freaks out and wants to get the hell away from me. Okay. The thing about streaming is like when Amazon calls. Why are you wet, Salud? You didn't pee on me, did you? And we're going to thank our sponsor, Mana Traders. Mana Traders, the premier place to rent Magic cards online. Really the best outlet for you to try out your brews without actually having to buy into the deck and try out all like an unlimited number of cards to see, hey, does this work? Does that work? You don't have to buy into any of these cards. Just rent the cards and you have unlimited access to whatever you need to brew with. And you can support the channel using my Mana Traders link in the description below or get 15% off your first 3 months using my coupon code Nikachu. Yeah, Slood said, put me down. Yeah, Slood is funny cats. So Nikachu left and said he isn't coming back until the donations pick up. I'm on strike. There wasn't any donations while I was gone. I mean, I don't think so. I don't see anything. All right, let's get to the reviewing decklist review part. Random. Good luck, everyone. We've got Cuvo with an Elves deck. Pioneer Elves. Sick. Pioneer Elves probably has like really good pickups, right? Probably have some good stuff in there. Ugh. Got hair in my mouth. Where am I here? All right, Pioneer Elves. Deck contains one invalid card, Masked Vandal. Oh, it's probably because that's the like an old card. Well, how are you playing Pioneer Elves? You're not even. Oh, you do have Whelm Walker. Why is this? How is Masked Vandal like against the rules, but Realm Walker isn't? Where's the Masked Vandal anyway? I don't even see Masked Vandal in this deck. Oh, it's here in the sideboard. Is there one in the main deck or something? I don't understand this Masked Vandal. Whatever, okay. Let's get to this. Elvish Mystic, Llanowar Elves, Elvish War Master, really good card, really, really strong. Incubation Druid, add 1 mana of any type that a land you control would produce. If Incubation Druid has a +1/+1 counter on it, add 3 mana instead. I'm not super thrilled with this type of card, but whatever. It's an elf nonetheless. Growth Chamber Guardian is good. Elvish Clan Caller is good. Lead the Stampede is fine. Realm Walker I think is great. I think you should have 4 Realm Walker. I think you should have less Icon of Ancestry. I think Realm Walker is more valuable to your deck than Icon of Ancestry. You should just have 1 less. These don't stack very well. Like beyond the first Icon of Ancestry, you don't really want more. I'm not even a fan of the card, period. But if you want it, you can play with it. Steel Leaf Champion is a weird card to have in these types of decks, because you are more of a like, let's assemble a lot of elves and kick our opponent's ass with some lords, and this is more of like a single beat stick, but it's like fine. And you have Beast Whisperer. This is Pioneer. I don't think Archdruid is legal. Is it? Elvish Archdruid legal in Pioneer. It is not legal. Illegal in Pioneer. So very, very important distinction. Yeah, it's not legal in Pioneer. Good question to ask, though. It's hard to keep track of like what's legal and what's not. I don't remember. I can remember the original printing to a lot of cards, but I don't know like where the fuck they got reprinted. You know what I mean? Oh, there we go. Andre's got it right. We should have Coco, or maybe one well, I guess this is not a big problem. But yeah, we should have Coco instead of Icon of Ancestry. And instead of Lead the Stampede at that, it will find most of our cards, right? It'll still find the Steel Leaf Champion, Growth Chamber Guardian, Elvish Clan Caller, and Realm Walker. It's going to be very, very good value. And like you could say, well, it's a non-bow with Realm Walker. You can't play Collected Company, but the same thing can be said of Icon of Ancestry. You can't play this off the top of your library with Realm Walker, so I would definitely be going down that direction. What was really important? What was the warrior? Is it Bramblewood something? Bramblewood Paragon. Did not see any reprints. This is very good synergy with Growth Chamber Guardian. But it's not legal. What about Metallic Mech? That also works, but I don't think that works with Realm Walker. Shapeshifter, but it doesn't have the Shapeshifter ability, right? The Shaman of the Pack well, splashing black is always a much bigger pain in the ass. I mean, I have nothing against it, but if this version doesn't want to splash black, it doesn't splash black. Because I wouldn't mind a Shaman of the Pact over, say, Steel Leaf Champion. Gives you some reach, but definitely Collected Company over Icon of Ancestry, and instead of Lead the Stampede, you can even replace one Lead the Stampede with a Realm Walker. Lands are fine, I guess. There's got to be some improvement here, like you have to have access to, like, there's got to be even Castle Garenbrig. I think you can run. Like you have to be able to add like one or two of these in a deck with 20 lands and a billion green sources. Adding one or two of them is not going to hurt you at all. Like you'll have the green sources almost always in a 20 land deck. Maybe I'm wrong. You don't want to risk it, but I'm pretty sure like with 14 green sources, you'll at least have one green on turn one all the time. Deathrite Shaman in Pioneer is just relegated to as a sideboard card. Okay, looking at the sideboard, we've got Tormod's Crypt. Now, you could play Deathrite Shaman in here somewhere. It wouldn't be bad. You could find that off of Realm Walker, and you can find it off of Collected Company, but at that point, it might be too late if you get it off of Collected Company. Damping Sphere is okay. Blossoming Defense. I get the sense that there should be something better than this. I was talking about Mass Vandal earlier. Like, it's such a condition. If you need to, what enchantments and artifacts are we trying to destroy in Pioneer? What are the artifacts and enchantments we have to destroy in Pioneer? Just out of curiosity for the people who are playing Pioneer. Allosaurus, that's Legacy, right? What is Allosaurus Shepherd? This is not Pioneer. I was just asking, why, if we have this, well, what Shaman? Okay, like, oh, you mean, Reclamation Sage? It's an elf, right? Rec Sage is, like, infinitely better. When was the last time it got reprinted? Core set 19? This is in the format, right? This is easily, I think this is easily better than Vandal by a huge margin. Huge margin. This is better than Vandal. Because, man, you need to have a creature in your graveyard somehow. And you're just not going to do it. Orzhov Auras, so even against them, I think that it's just very likely that you probably want... You're going to get turn 2 Reclamation Sage. And if you don't get turn 2 Reclamation Sage because they killed one of your creatures, then they slowed themselves down too, and turn 3 Reclamation Sage is just as good. So just put Rec Sage over. I know you want to play with the nice new toys, but this nice new toy sucks. It just sucks. This clause that you have to exile a creature card from your graveyard is stupid. What a stupid clause this was. I mean, maybe it makes it fair because then it would just be a superior reclamation sage. But still, it made it unplayable. It made it unplayable because it only is going to work on turn like I don't know 4, 5, 6 later, and even against some decks, they'll never kill your creatures. They just never kill your creatures, so you'll never be able to exile anything. I think it's garbage. I think it's hot trash. I'm not sure what you want the Blossoming Defense for. Tormod's Crypt is fine if you need to defeat those graveyard decks that badly, but I would highly consider. This is a spot where maybe you could play with like Deathrite Shaman. Wouldn't be too bad. Imperious Perfect. The elves you control get +1/+1. Create a elf. I think this is a bit clunky. I mean, it's possible. Given in this deck, it might be a bit clunky. I don't mind the card. Like, that's a possible replacement to Steel Leaf Champion, because Steel Leaf Champion is not very synergetic with the rest of this deck. You might be better off with more Lords, because this is just like one big creature, which is fine. It's fine. It's a big creature. Maybe it's like a source of evasion that maybe you need that I wasn't thinking about, but Imperious Perfect definitely could take that place as a 3-mana Lord. It's not legal? Oh, you know what? I was looking at this like this was a Kaldheim symbol. Okay, it's not legal in Pioneer. I was looking at... I thought, you know, these symbols are starting to blend the fuck together. Oh, it's a Kaldheim commander? Oh, that's why. So it's like... It's a Kaldheim set, but not actual... It wasn't standard printed. Thanks, Wizard. That's not confusing at all. That's not confusing at all. You know how many times I've caught people playing with things like True Name Nemesis in a Modern tournament because it had the Modern frame? It's hard. You know, you look at this card. It came from a Kaldheim set. The set symbol looks Kaldheim, but it's not actually like standard or modern or standard or Pioneer legal. Hilarious stuff. Does that mean it's not Modern legal either? No, it's legal in Modern. Oh, is this just an old card? Oh, it's an old card. Oh, gotcha. Metallic Mimic looks good, but my deal is you can't find it off of Realm Walker. Like, maybe it's fine, but what do you want to kick out? I don't know if it's that great with Druid, to be honest. Like, turn 3 Druid seems a bit awkward. But then again, I'm not super high on the Druid anyway. It's just a big creature. Actually, it's sort of a non-bo with Druid because you only get... You get a counter on it, and then it doesn't get bigger. Well, anyway, I hope some of that feedback was useful. Cool list, and I think Elves definitely has a lot. I mean, Elves has like almost everything to be playable in Pioneer. Good luck with the deck. Okay, good luck. Congratulations to Peepoo Max. You're the next contestant on Decklist Review. Looks like you're trying to play with some new hot stuff. We've got a discard deck with Life from the... Oh, and this is the... Did we not review this exact thing the other day? We definitely saw this list before. Raven's Crime, Thoughtseize, Dark Blast, Inquisition, Smallpox, Life from the Loam. Like, it's this cool Life from the Loam deck. Wrenchmind, Abrupt Decay, Zombie Infestation, Liliana the Veil. I don't know if you're submitting this again and you didn't see our review. Although I don't remember if this is the same deck or not. I remember I didn't think Nether Spirit was worth being in this deck. I still don't think Nether Spirit is worth being in this deck. Opinion has not changed on this card. Barrenmoor, Blast Zone, Pajuka Bog, Mutavault. I don't remember the former... Oh, this is version 2? So version 2 has less basics than version 1. I don't know if that's necessarily a bad thing. 4 Nihil Spellbomb, 2 Duress, Surgical Extraction, Damping Sphere, Collective Brutality, Assassin's Trophy, another Worm Harvest. Put a +1, put a 1/1 black and green worm creature token on the battlefield for each land card in your graveyard. That's fine. Like, this is a pretty strong win condition in my opinion. I don't know, what can I change instead of Nether Spirit? If anything, you should probably have more like a second Worm Harvest in this deck. This is a shitty card. I don't know, maybe in practice it's better than I think in this list, because it gives you a random creature to block with every turn. Beginning of your upkeep, if it's the only creature card in your graveyard, you can return from the graveyard to the battlefield. Wow, they put that in Modern Horizons. Anyway, this is not it's I still don't really believe in it. But the rest of the deck looks clean. It's a clean deck. I might have another Plague Engineer for this Tybalt's Trickery metagame. A lot of tribal decks are popping up, like Spirits and Humans particularly. It's a spirit, and I still have nothing to say about it. Okay. Deck is looks like a lot more refined than last time. Oh, wasn't it last time you had like 3 colors? Was that the issue? And then we told you to dump one of them because it's like pointless? I can't remember. I think it was 3 colors for no reason. I don't remember exactly the details. How many fetch lands do we have? I guess we have enough fetch lands to find our swamps. Okay, sweet list. Very clean. Good luck with it. What about Pongify with Uro? What do you mean, like blow up your own Uro? I don't get it. That was a fast one. We can look at one more. Well, I would say you're still somewhat weak to Blood Moon. I would highly consider adding more basics. But I think you're, maybe you're not too bad looking at the basics. Maybe you're okay. Whoops. Who's next? Alberto! Check out your deck, Alberto. I think this is going to be an Unburial Rites deck. I haven't seen one of those in ages. Abzan, Rites, Blink, Yorion, Pile, Junk. 2 Dark Confidants. I can't get very far into this reviewing this deck without saying this is trash. This is absolute garbage card in 2020. It wasn't very good in 2020. It's not getting any better in 2021. And it has no business in a Blink deck either. Just get rid of this card. Satyr Wayfinder is totally fine. Stoneforge Mystic is very interesting include, but fine. Tide Hollow Scholar is fine. Skyclave Apparition is good. Restoration Angel, I guess it would be nice if you had more things to blink with your Restoration Angel. I guess you do. I mean, between Stoneforge Mystic and the Skyclave Apparition, maybe you should up your Restoration Angels. So take out your Dark Confidants, add more like at least one. Like a Restoration Angel is going to be one of the best cards in this deck. I mean, Blinking Satyr Wayfinder might not be too bad if you can prove to me that you've got some good good resources in your graveyard. And Siege Rhino is totally fine. Shriekmaw, yeah, is also fine. Also a fine blink target. Liliana the Veil. Ephemerates, Fatal Push. Maybe you should have more Shriekmaws so that you can get to evoke for you get to 3 mana, evoke, ephemerate your Shriekmaw, and kill 2 things at once. You ever think about that? Well, Blinking Tidehouse Scholar is not that good because it will leave. There'll be a trigger that the opponent gets the card back, right? I think this is a very weak interaction. When it enters the battlefield, or does it never leave? Is that how this is going to work? It enters the battlefield, target opponent reveals his or her hand, and you choose an online card from it, exile that card. When Tidehouse Scholar leaves the battlefield, return the exiled card to its owner's hand. Like, they're going to get the card back, right? Or unless I'm wrong. So you're basically just going to take the you can either take the card again, or you can get a slightly better card. But that's not a bomb interaction. It's pretty weak. Oh, you get 2 cards instead? So there's never going to be a leave the battlefield trigger with Tidehollow Scholar? Like there's gonna be two triggers where you exile something again. I gotta look this up. Restoration, Angel, and Tide Hollow Sculler. Oh, you want to blink in response. Yeah, but you can like doing that with Restoration Angel is different. Okay, I understand what people want to do, but like that's Magical Christmas Land to play Tide Hollow Sculler to get to turn 6, play your Tide Hollow Sculler, and then play Restoration Angel. Like I understand the ephemerate interaction. You play Tide Hollow Sculler, you ephemerate, you can get 2 cards, and you don't lose anything. But like if you're talking about blinking with Restoration Angel, that's very unlikely to happen. Like why are you on? I mean, there might be. First off, why are you on turn 6 with Restoration Angel and Tide Hollow Sculler? And also, will your opponent even have 2 cards in hand by the time you get to turn 6? Because you're only fairly playing 1 land a turn. So like this it's like it's not real. It's an interaction, but it's not really an interaction. It's not a worthwhile interaction to consider playing Restoration Angel. I like blinking Shriekmaws and Rhinos, though. I think that's a worthwhile interaction. So what do we got on the sideboard? Oh, sorry. We have, what do we have for spells? We have Fatal Push, Path to Exile, Abrupt Decay, Assassin's Trophy, Grisly Salvage on Burial Rites. Is there not anything we could abuse with the graveyard? Maybe not. Burial Rites is fine. Sort of Feast and Famine, sort of Fire and Ice, Batter Skull. These are okay. Godless Shrine. There's a lot of lands. 29 lands is super high. I have no idea if this is a lot of lands, right? Is it just me, or is this like a lot of lands, especially since you're playing with Satyr Wayfinder, which puts a land in your hand anyway? Oh yeah, there's a bunch of lands here because of Yorion. Is this worth even blinking? Blink, blink. Like, again, this blinking this is not worth it. Blinking this is worth it. Blinking this is also worth it. This is worth it. Okay, you can justify the Yorion. It's a Yorion deck. Someone figured it out for me. It's like, why is there so many lands in this deck? Nihil, Spellbomb, Thoughtseize, Veil of Summer, Abrupt Decay, Celestial Persian, Collector Roof. Get rid of the Dark Confidant. This is a garbage card in this deck. It's not a blink target, and also you have some expensive cards that will kill you. Like, imagine flipping your Shriekmaw off your Dark Confidant. It's garbage. You can't play this card. I also would like to consolidate some of these removal spells. Like, instead of Abrupt Decay, just add like another Path to Exile or something. Maybe you can have one Assassin's Trophy. I don't know. Or maybe you should have a 4th Liliana of the Veil because you have a 80 card deck. Or another Shriekmaw. I think Shriekmaw is like underrated in here. Well, you may not need 31 lands because we are playing with Satyr Wayfinder, which also finds a land anyway. Anyway, so outside of that, I think it's fine. I think it's fine, and I think we should see more decks like this in Modern. I do want to go the Path to Exile route because we need to exile stuff in today's Modern metagame. You know, Fatal Pushing doesn't help play around stuff like Lurrus, for example, and all the graveyard strategies. Like when there's an Uro or a Crox on the battlefield, you want to exile it. You want to get rid of it for forever. Path to Exile can help you there. You have the Skyclave Apparition, but you know, Skyclave plus Path to Exile is a great combo. Oh, you have 4 Aladdin Recalls? That's totally fine. I don't know if you need it, because you might just be wanting to be used up your mana every single turn, but that's totally reasonable. I mean, it's reasonable to have Primeval Titan in this deck and just have some random like other land, like 2 Field of the Deads or something in here. If you have so much mana available, you can Restoration Angel a Primeval Titan, you can blink the Primeval Titan, you can do all that stuff. All things are possible. You can even Unburial Rites a Primeval Titan. Isn't that a thing? Anyway, I think it's a cool list. I think it's clean. We've seen some of these lists on this show, and I don't know why. Maybe just not enough people are trying to make it competitive in the Modern metagame, but I think there's a lot of good game here. think there's a lot of game in these sort of lists. But anyway, that's all I have time for today for Coffee and MTG. Thank you very much for joining me today and making me a part of your daily routine. Again, if I didn't get to your comments, questions, or deck list, we do this Monday to Friday, 9 o'clock a.m. Central Standard Time. So get your coffee ready, and I'll be ready for you. And if you want to support the channel, you can always do so by leaving a subscription at twitch.tv/NikachuMTG. Maybe you want to be a patron on Patreon at patreon.com/NikachuMTG. Or you maybe want to join on YouTube and get access to all those sweet emotes while drinking your coffee at Coffee and MTG. So thank you very much for joining me this morning, and I will keep brewing up that coffee. We'll keep brewing up the magic, and I'll see you next time.